Alright, there you go. Doing a little testing here for the sled drag for the death medley. This is the 4th event in the competition, and we're going to go over the rolls for April Fools of Strength death medley. Alright guys, April Fools of Strength about a month away. We're going to talk about the death medley today, go over the rolls with that. One more is my new training business, so you guys look out for that. But we're going to talk about the death medley. I have my buddy Clint Darden. If you don't know Clint, you need to follow him. He's a legend in the sport. He's going to give you some tips on how to approach a medley.
Alright guys, it is an average Thursday night for me. I am outside training after getting everyone to bed. What else do you do on a Thursday night if it's an off day? We get outside and do some training on the reverse hyper. Always ready for the next session, always ready for the next contest. It was brought to my attention that some of you guys have a contest coming up that has a killer medley in it. And I have no idea why someone would ask me for advice about a medley, because I'm one of those guys that always dies on every medley. But it looks like this entire contest is set up based towards beginners and novices, and I think it looks like all the events that are being put together very well thought out, with weights that are very doable for athletes on all levels. So I don't know all the exact weights for the events, but it sounds like this medley is a carry, and a drag. So you'll be carrying down a duck walk implement, a handle with the weight kind of hangs down between your legs, so you kind of walk like a duck as you carry it from one place to the next. A sandbag carry, you pick it up from the ground and carry it back to where you just began the duck walk. And then from there, I believe it's a sled drag from there all the way back. Now, there are a lot of things about this that would scare me to death as far as any kind of medley design like this. But from the ideas of the weights, I think that would relieve a lot of stress and a lot of tension for me on this event. Now, you have to keep in mind that with any lift, exercise, strongman event that you're doing, it always comes down to at least one or three things. It's either mental, physical, or technical. So if you start looking at, what went wrong, now we're forecasting what could go wrong and how to prepare for it. It's either going to be mental, physical, or technical. So you always want to work on those three things in your training. Now, the mental side of it, you kind of have to have an understanding that these events are going to hurt. The duck walk is probably going to rub along the inside of your thighs, and it's probably going to leave some bruises, and you're just going to have to accept that. The sandbag is going to be hard to pick up off the ground after you've carried the duck walk implement down. It's going to suck out all the oxygen and the hamstrings out of your body, carrying it back. You just have to accept that. The sled drag is going to burn your legs like crazy. You have to know that it's going to make you want to feel like you're going to die, and you just have to accept that. So the mental side of it is just knowing that this is going to be hard, but I'm going to do it anyway. Now, the other two parts, and I think that's the brilliance about how this is put together, is physical and technical. Now, the physical side often comes down to, are you strong enough to lift it? And I think most people are going to be strong enough to move all three implements without any issues. So if you're strong enough to do it, physically it's going to come down to, are you in good enough shape to do it? And then I think the side of that kind of corners in with this is, technically, are you efficient enough at these exercises so that you can do them without being totally gassed? So incorporating the physical and the technical sides together, I think that's how I would design the training program. I think I would set up anything somewhere between 75 and 90% of the contest weights. Very rarely would I go over that, except maybe once I might feel good doing a contest run leading up to the contest. But I would stick with somewhere in the 75 to 85% range on all three implements. Contest distance is perfectly fine, and I would focus on doing 3 to 4 runs every training session that I'm scheduled to do this. So if I'm scheduled to do this once a week, I would make sure to do 4 runs, very light, very technical. Get everything on video. Count your steps that you're making from one end to the next. Make sure that you're not setting it down and wasting 5 seconds between setting the duck walk implement down and picking up the sandbag. Set the implement down, immediately turn, get your hands on the sandbag, and start going. Once again, you've already accepted that mentally this is going to be tough. So you just got to do it. Bring the sandbag back, drop it. Don't stand there and let all your air out and think for a second, and then look at the sled drag, grab the handle, step back, wait for all your friends to cheer you on. When you drop that sandbag, get on that sled and start pulling. I promise you, the longer that you wait, the worse it's going to feel inside. If you just get on it and just go and go and go, you're not going to die as much cardio-wise. I promise you that. You may think I'm crazy, but I promise you. Now, if you plan to do this kind of event twice a week, if it's something that you can do twice a week, then I would do it at least 2 runs earlier in the week and at least 2 runs later in the week. You can vary the percentages, 70, 75, 80, 85, somewhere around there. Always focusing on a little bit of cardio, foot speed, and technique. This is absolute skill. Now, if you're realizing that you do need just a little bit more strength, that your cardio isn't quite ready to complete all of this in one run, and technically you need a little bit more time to think about what you're doing before you just reach down and grab the implement and go, what I will do is, if I'm preparing for a contest with some kind of medley like this, I will have one day where it's a 85 to 90% contest run, and the other day will be somewhere around 65 to 70%. I will set each implement up, and I will move one implement every 45 seconds on the 45 seconds. Maybe the next week every minute on the minute. Maybe the week after that every 90 seconds on the 90 seconds, and the week after that maybe every 2 minutes on the 2 minutes. And honestly, the every 90 seconds to every 2 minutes is much more difficult than the every 45 seconds on the 45 seconds when you're looking at cardiovascular endurance. It gets the heart rate up and it keeps it up for a longer period of time, and it's very, very difficult. But it gives you more time to get to your next implement, to get set down, to think about what you have to do, and to make sure that you are set up correctly. And then once you are set up and that buzzer goes off, then you have to do everything absolutely perfect at full speed. It's another great way to train for this event without just beating yourself into the ground. So before I get back to doing my reverse hypers here on an average Thursday night, I just want to reinforce, everything comes down to being mentally, physically, or technically an issue. So you always have to address those 3 things. But remember, you don't always have to do the exact same thing in training to be successful on contest day. Hope this helps, guys, and I can't wait to see what you do. Have a good one.
All right, so Clint covered a lot there as far as how to approach and how to train for an event like this. He didn't really go over the specifics on the rolls. Like I said, it's going to be a 75-foot backward sled drag, a 50-foot sandbag carry, and a 25-foot duck walk. With the sandbag, I may switch it up. It's a 50-foot sandbag, but I loaded it with wet sand, so it's a little heavier than I planned on. If it dries up, I'm going to weigh it. I might flip the 50-foot sandbag and the duck walk. I'm not sure yet on that. Like I said, all right, the duck walk, it's just a T-handle. You're going to bend down, pick it up. You got to straddle what the weight's going to be. It's basically going to be plates. So you're going to be straddling like this and waddling like a duck, hence duck walk. Once again, it's not going to be real heavy. It's just an awkward implement, and it's going to be either 25 feet or 50 feet, depending on what you do with the sandbag. All right, so for the backward sled drag, this is what we're using. It's just an Elite Fitness sled. We're going to load plates on it. You have a strap, 2 handles. Backwards, drag the sled backwards. A lot of you asking me how heavy it's going to be. I'm not going to know until I test it on the surface here, depending on the day. Everything changes on sleds, the way they drag and everything like that. So it's not going to be super heavy, believe me, but 75 feet is a far distance, so even if it's going to be light, it's still going to tax your legs, so it's going to be a tough event. All right, so there you have it, April Fool's Strength, the 4th one, the Death Medley. We got some tips from Clint Darden, House of Biceps, as he always says. Go check him out and follow him. But I give you the rolls, I showed you what we're using, how it's going to go. A couple changes might happen that day, but like I said, this is an event. Just have fun training with it. It's a conditioning, it's a cardio event, it's a mental event. You're gonna have fun. Always take that one more step, that 1 second faster. And we're about a month away, so we're getting ready. We'll see you soon. April Fools of Strength. As always, Godzilla out.